Hi, I'm Erin. Welcome to my beautiful Unschool Life, the YouTube channel where I give you an honest look at my unconventional life. I grow my own food, I homeschool my own kids, I live in a tiny house that I built with limited amenities, and I share all of it here on YouTube. Today I want to talk about what it's really like to live like this. The tiny house life, the homestead life, the homeschool life, they're all really very much romanticized. And not a lot of people see the full picture. It's very easy to fill in the gaps with your imagination, but there are a lot of people who want to live like this one day, and I feel like it would be an injustice for me to give this idea that everything is perfect and easy and wonderful and beautiful and sunshine and roses and sunsets and baby chickens. The truth is that this is a complicated way of living. So I'm going to try and give a fair account of what it's like to live like this. It's not going to apply to everybody. Some people will be tiny house people, some people will be off-grid people, some people will be homestead people, some people will be all of the above. I don't even necessarily tick all of those boxes. I mean, I'm sort of off-grid, but I have an electrical wire running into my house. And eventually I'll have solar panels. And actually, if I ever get solar panels, I will actually have more electricity than I do right now, because I'm trying very hard not to run up my boyfriend's electricity bill. So, anyways, your situation is going to be different from mine, but I want to try to give you a bit of an idea of what you can expect. This way of life is very romanticized, like the pioneer life. We're kind of living like pioneers. And I think about years ago, before we ever even thought we would consider doing something like this, I read the Little House on the Prairie books to my girls, and we thought it was really cool. Like the way they described building a smoker out of a hollowed out tree stump, and the way they described what they did with every piece of the pig that they harvested, including the brains. and what they did with all the pieces of the cow that they butchered, like where rennet came from, and making cheese, these things that they described that we have just taken for granted. You know, we go to the grocery store and we buy a piece of cheese. We've just taken for granted all of it. To read it being described in detail was really very romantic to us, and we really thought that was a cool thing. But I think the number one thing that makes my life not Little House on the Prairie is that they inherited all of that knowledge from every generation that came before them. You know, the girls from a very young age in Little House on the Prairie, they were learning how to do the domestic chores. They were learning how to do the farm chores. They learned every single step of the farm through their entire lives, so that when they became adults and it was time for them to make their own cheese, they knew what they were doing. Nobody has taught me any of this. I've learned it all from YouTube, and learning from YouTube is a wonderful thing. I'm very grateful I have it, because without YouTube, none of this would exist. But when you learn from YouTube, there's kind of two different kinds of people that I found when I was learning on YouTube. Is you get the experts, like the professionals who've been trained, who've been doing it their whole lives, who have it down to a science and make it look easy. And you can't possibly compare yourselves to them, because of course yours is going to be a train wreck the first 150 times that you do it, and theirs is going to be beautiful. So it's hard to learn from them. And then the other group of people that are doing DIY on the internet are people who are doing it themselves for the very first time, and they're teaching you how to do it while they're doing it, but they edit out all their mistakes. So, and then they don't give you a review 6 months later, 12 months later, to say what they would have done differently and all that sort of thing. So I find learning from the internet is a problematic way of learning, but thank goodness I have it, because this would all be impossible, because there's nobody passing this knowledge down from generation to generation. I mean, there are some places where they teach it, but I'm poor. I can't afford to take courses from an expert, as valuable as that would be if I had the money. Absolutely, that's a valuable way to learn. But also, I'm an unschooler, and that means that I'm not afraid of diving in and learning the hard way. And so that's what we have done here. We've dove in head first, and we have learned the hard way. And learning the hard way is messy. And the main thing I would say that makes this difficult, learning this the hard way, is that the routine is an annual routine. Most things that you do these days, there's a weekly routine or a daily routine, or like when I was in university, there was a semester, 3 semesters to the year. Awesome. That looks really good, babe. Well done. Let me show you my view here. So Bethany is drawing. That is the Mona Lisa, a cat version of the Mona Lisa, which is absolutely amazing. Abby, what are you doing over there, baby? Yeah, how you feeling? You're getting sick, eh?
I also kind of have a stuffy nose.
You have a stuffy nose? Yeah, I can hear that. So maybe you caught something when you were at guide camp?
Yeah.
Should we go to bed early tonight?
I don't care.
I made myself some chamomile tea. Would you like some sort of tea? Honey, lemon, ginger tea? That's what I like to have when I have a sore throat.
Okay.
Honey, lemon, ginger tea?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't be able to drink it in a bit because you have to wait for it.
It takes a while, doesn't it? Abby, why are you standing so close to the fire?
I don't know. I wanted to make a cube. It doesn't look good. I know. The background's ugly.
Window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody spill it. Like on the window.
Perfect. Now you're going to work on reading your book? Oh no, maybe that's not a good idea. You ask me too many questions when you read. And I can't be interrupted. We'll read after.
No, let's read!
Bethany, let me see. Awesome. That looks really good. What do we do?
Get me out of my misery.
Put you out of your misery? Aw,
Yeah,
should I get the axe? You want me to get the axe?
No, I said put me out of my misery by getting rid of it.
By getting rid of what? What's wrong with you? Your illness?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't want to be killed.
That's what people usually mean when they say put me out of my misery.
Which is your favorite? I think my favorite from here is this. What I think of this is just like these two like the people out there that are doing in the like going on their phones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the kid and the grown up are like not going on their phones and doing like imagination.
That's really cool. I think that's what I think it means too. It's a really cool painting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bethany did a really good job, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just gonna lie there while I talk? Is that the plan?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you just have to be aware that when I talk, I wave my arms around a lot. You're gonna get whacked. Why don't you go lie down in bed, or go lie down on the couch with and have some of your tea. It should be cooled down by now. Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, this life that I'm living, it's not a weekly routine or a daily routine. It's a yearly routine. You go through a whole 12 months before you get a chance. You get a second chance to learn your lesson, which makes it really very hard to get good at, because the way you get good at things is by trying it and getting it wrong and trying it and getting it wrong and modifying it and getting it a bit better and like try over and over and over again. And so that means that when your learning cycle is a year, I'm only gonna get, let's see, what I started gardening when I was 40. I'm only gonna get 20 chances at this. That's it. 20 chances, maybe 30 chances if my body cooperates. So it's very hard to learn this at the level of an expert, because you don't get to try it that many times over. And it means it also takes a really long time to get good at it. I always feel like I should be improving faster. And a lot of them are sick right now. I don't think I've ever had this many chickens sick. They do get sick every single winter. Every single winter, somebody gets sick. So the first year we lost Pinky. Last year, the only chicken we lost was Scissorbeak. And I assume that it's the cold weather. But she could have also had a virus. It could have been a combination of two different things. I do what I can to try and build their immune systems. So I'm currently putting apple cider vinegar in their water, and I am putting garlic in their fermented food, and I have been giving them hot peppers in their feed for a while now. So all of those things are going to help build their immune systems, and hopefully they can beat whatever this is that they're fighting with. It's been about 10 days since I started giving the chickens apple cider vinegar, and maybe like a week since I started giving them garlic. They've been getting hot pepper all along, but I ran out of my homegrown hot pepper. I had to give them store-bought. And there's no coughing and sneezing at all in the coop anymore, so it actually worked. I was really skeptical that it would be very effective, and it was effective quite quickly, actually. So that's a lesson that I've learned. It took me a couple of years. We insulated the coop. We only did the north wall. We didn't bother with the south wall because we didn't think it would get that cold, but this winter has been so much colder than the last few winters, so probably we should have insulated that wall. If you look at my rooster, my copper Moran rooster, he's got really bad frostbite on his comb, which is unfortunate. Copper Morans are supposed to be a winter hardy breed, but generally a chicken with a comb that big, you don't want to have it in a cold location. We'll try next winter and we'll see what happens. And maybe the lesson is that we just can't have copper Morans here unless we're in a proper barn. I feel like I should be learning faster. But the truth of the matter is, if you're only, let's say we butcher ducks once a year, I can't quite remember what temperature did we have the water at, what was the best way to pluck, what was the best order to do things in. Like, it's hard to get good at something when you haven't done it in a year. So the number one piece of advice I can give you there is take notes, write things down. I have a spiral bound notebook where I write down all the really important things, like how I made the salsa, how I butchered the rabbit.
Salsa. That's the important thing. It's an important thing.
Yeah, salsa is an important thing. Thank you very much. Should I say how I made the apple jelly?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a recipe for that. You know how I butchered the rabbits, how I raised the baby chickens, and then I'll also write notes for things that I should try next time if I have some ideas. So I definitely recommend keeping notes as you go. Okay, so I've got a bit of a list here of things that I think. Whenever people talk about a life like this, including myself, we say we want a simple life. I still would refer to this as a simple life, but simple life isn't easy. It's very complicated. Where someone else would just flush a toilet, I have a bucket that I need to empty every once in a while and rinse out. I have wood shavings that I need to top up, and when they run out, I have to find more wood shavings from a store or from a sawmill.
I remember to cover my poo.
High five, baby. You need to remember to cover your poo. That's a little more complicated than just a normal toilet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a dry house, so that means I have to carry water in bottles, and I have to carry my wastewater out in a bucket. And now I need to dump my dishwater. I need to fill up my water bottles. And there's something else I'm supposed to be doing, but I can't remember what it is. I'm sure it'll come to me. Oh, I need to sweep the floor. What's up, Abby?
What can I do?
You can color, draw, perler bead, bracelets, journal entries, read a book. But don't ask me 700 million questions when you're doing it. Ask Bethany the questions.
No.
Use your paint kit. I think I've seen Bethany use your paint kit more than you.
Bethany has
Where was I? Does anybody remember where I was?
Probably in the
Oh yeah, poo buckets, water. So yeah, it's more complicated, but I don't ever have to call a plumber. I don't ever have to call a dishwasher repairman. I don't ever have to blow my vacation budget on buying a new fridge. I don't ever have to worry about an electrical fire.
Do you have to worry about a firefighter?
I do have to worry about a fire. But there are a lot of simple comes with complicated. When your furnace breaks down, isn't that like $30,000 to buy a new furnace? I don't worry about that. I have this great big cast iron wood stove that has very few breakable parts, and the parts that do break can be welded back together. And I know a welder. Hi, Lance. In that way, the simple life is simple. But on a daily basis, it's complicated. Yes, darling.
Can I have the things that make my float?
Yeah, you can have one of those.
Okay.
But that should be the last one because it's got sugar in it. It'll make you crazy before bed. Did you try the tea again? Yeah. Now that it's cooled down? Okay, can I film, please?
Yes.
Thank you. What do you need me for?
Nothing. I just want to watch you.
I can't film when you're watching me like that. Go find something to do. You're adorable. Look at how cute you are. Should we show everybody on the internet how cute you are? Oh, she's so cute. All right, get off me. Go do something else. I'm trying to film. Awesome. That's really good. All right, hold it up so I can see it. Oh my goodness, it's awesome. Fantastic. Okay, oh my goodness. We'll get this video done someday. Okay, so the simple life is complicated, on the daily, it's complicated. There's no great big surprises. There's no massive breakdown one day and the whole system falls apart and I need to hire a professional to fix it. But it's every single day it's complicated. So my morning chores, first we do the animal chores, then we have breakfast, and then I do the house chores. And that basically takes us the whole morning. That kind of brings us to lunch. Morning chores are usually, I have to get the wood stove going. If I'm doing a good job, all I have to do is put in some new logs and it's fine to go. If I'm doing a bad job, I have to start from scratch. Sometimes I have to refill the wood at the door in the morning. I usually do the dishes. I do the dishes every day, actually, because there's two reasons why I do the dishes every day. One, I don't have enough counter space for a lot of dirty dishes. And two, I don't have a lot of dishes. We don't have much storage space, so we keep a very small number of dishes. We only have enough dishes for 3 meals, and then we run out. So I do the dishes every single day. I sweep every day, twice a day, 3 times a day. You don't realize how much mess you make when you're living in a 3-bedroom house because your mess is distributed over 3 bedrooms in the house. But in this house, your mess is distributed over 3 8x8 sections. And so you have a lot of mess. And then also the wood stove brings in a lot of dirt. Kids bring dirt, cats bring in dirt. Tiny houses are messy. You need to be really, really, really organized. So for instance, because I cook in a wood stove, I'm usually putting dinner in the wood stove before I'm even eating breakfast or right after I've eaten breakfast. Everything in this house serves multiple purposes. So the couch is also my tool storage and my sewing machine storage and my seed storage. My kitchen table is also my desk. Things have multiple purposes, and so that means you're often juggling things from, oh, time to put the desk away so I can have a kitchen table again. Time to put the kitchen table away so I can put the desk, so I can have my desk. I've got to clean up the number one place where the girls do most of their arts and crafts, right here. This is the pathway from one side of the house to the other, and it's right in front of the wood stove. So anytime I need to do anything, I have to get them to clean up. Now, there's a rule about where they're supposed to set up, but nobody follows rules around this house, do they, girls?
No. Help me get this out.
Yeah, sure.
This one doesn't. This one in the
All right,
lemonade.
let's show the before. This is the before picture. And now, Abby, are you going to paint it or are you going to use your markers?
I'm gonna use my markers.
Your new markers. Awesome. I'm really excited to see. Okay. Poof. Where was I? Anyone know where I was?
You're showing.
I was showing that. What was I doing before that? I think I was at everything has multiple purposes.
Yeah.
All right. Simple is complicated. Everything has multiple purposes.
I'm finished.
Cool. All right. Let's show it off. That is really beautiful. You're getting really good at the watercolors, babe. This is a Christmas gift that Abby got, but Bethany has used it a lot the last few days. She's getting really good at it.
The notebook's mine, but the paint is Abby's.
The floor that my foot is on right now doubles as paper storage. So that's what Bethany's digging through right now. Can you get it? Nice one. The girls and I have gotten quite good at the dance required to exist in this tiny little space with 3 people. Last week I set a camera up and just filmed us just getting breakfast. And it was really neat. When you speed it up, it almost looks like we're dancing because we've sort of gotten good at finding our flow and moving around with the 3 of us. When I designed this house, I was under the impression that I would be single for the rest of my life. So it's really interesting to sort of see when Dawn comes in here, how uncomfortable it is. It's not him. It's anytime a new person comes in, anytime someone who's not one of the 3 of us comes into this house, their presence is so noticeable because the space is so small. It really just changes the energy and changes the dynamic of the house. Now, we have people. The girl's best friend, Sammy, comes and sleeps over all the time. And they have a lot of fun. They really enjoy themselves because it's like a little tree fort up there. But she's little. So it doesn't change things quite as much. The other thing about such a tiny space is that the kids can't be crazy in here. They really need to be mindful. The whole house is booby trapped. Like there's dangerous things everywhere. The number one most dangerous thing in the house isn't the wood stove, it's the step in the middle of the floor. I can't even tell you the number of times they've tripped over it. It's huge. It's like 12 inches tall.
One day, yeah, I tripped over like 90, 100 times.
90, 100 times in one day?
My leg hurted so much.
Yeah, you got a bruise. What do you think is the deal? Why do you keep tripping over this step even though it's been here ever since we've moved in?
I forget it's there.
You forget it's there. So yeah, the girls are having to learn mindfulness because you just can't move quickly in this space. It's very tight. It's very hard and wooden, and so yeah, they have to be mindful in here. They can't horse around in the house. But that brings me to sort of my next point, which is how much time we spend outside, because you can't horse around in here. And these are very active children. We have to spend a lot of time outside every single day. I mean, we have to go outside twice a day to do chores anyways. So even last week when it was minus 20 degrees with a wind chill that felt like minus 30, we still went outside for a half an hour every morning and a half an hour every afternoon to do our chores. The days when it's warmer, we're out much more because we just can't sit so calmly all the time. But it's actually something that I would say my favorite thing about tiny house living is the modern house is like a fortress against nature. Like it's airtight. Nothing from the natural world gets in. The air is 100% produced by the air circulation system. The windows have double, triple panes so that you can't feel the cold air from outside or the warm air from outside. The temperature is completely regulated. You're in a cocoon, protected from the natural world. And if you don't go outside very often, then you're living 100% in an unnatural, that's not the word I want, in a managed environment. It's not like that here. My house is the bare minimum of protection from the natural world. Breezes flow into my house. Insects come into my house. The sun shining through those windows, you can't get away from it. The whole house is lit up by the sunlight. And I can see the full moon from sitting at my kitchen table. There's no getting away from the fact that we are in nature. We have birds outside of our window all the time. We can see rabbits feeding on the grass right outside of our house. The temperature outside is the temperature inside. We live in nature. And I love that. Yeah, the flies are a bit much. Yeah, sometimes it's really hot in here. And yeah, sometimes it's pretty cold and drafty. But we live in nature. We feel the natural cycle of the earth. We go outside at night all the time. We see the stars. We know the moon cycles. When I used to live in a city or when I used to live in a normal house, I didn't know the moon cycles. Now I always know the moon cycle. By the way, we're very close to a new moon. I'm not sure exactly when, or maybe it's today, or maybe it was yesterday. Anyway. This house is permeable. So that is something that I love. But also with modern houses that are like a cocoon, and it really gives people an illusion of safety that's not real. It really gives you an illusion that you can get through life without ever suffering discomfort. It really kind of creates this illusion that humans are not defined by the rules of nature. And the truth of the matter is we are still governed by the rules of nature. And when we live like this, we see it every day and we feel it every day. And I love that. I felt so disconnected when I lived in the city. And it means we've really accepted that sometimes you're going to get hurt. And that's sort of my approach with this step in the middle of the house that my kids keep tripping over. Like, sometimes you're going to get hurt. You need to learn how to not get hurt. Like, you need to figure out how to solve that problem. This step is going to be here. It's not going anywhere. I'm not tearing it out just because the kids trip over it. I'm not painting it bright orange because they'll still trip over it. It's not like it's hard to see. They just need to adapt.
I have not been able to
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah. How long has it been since the last time you tripped over it, Abby?
Like 2 years.
2 years. Awesome. Well done, dude. Well done. And so that's just kind of part of my approach to parenting. One thing that I also love about living in a tiny house is I really had this, when we had a lot of stuff, when we had a 3-bedroom house full of things, I felt like those things were a burden, like they were a weight upon me. And I'm not the only person who's ever said that. The idea that the more stuff you have, the stuff owns you instead of you owning the stuff. You have to work to make money to buy the stuff, and then you have to work to make money to maintain the stuff, and then you have to work to make money to replace the stuff. You start to become in service of your things. And in a tiny house, you just cannot have a lot of things. And not only does it save me money in that sense, but it prevents me from buying stuff. I go to a store, I see something, I fall in love with it. I think to myself, where am I going to put that? If I don't have anywhere to put it, then I don't get it. So it really helps me save money, and it keeps me aligned with my ideals where I don't want to be consuming a lot of stuff. To me, things equal stress. So a tiny house reduces the amount of stress that I have. It increases my stress in other ways. Don't worry, it all balances out in the end. But when it comes to that, it reduces my stress. Another thing that I absolutely love about living in a tiny house is that it forces us to spend all of our time together. In this house, there is no everybody going their separate directions into their own rooms and hunkering down with a TV show and not even talking to each other all day. We spend all day together. In the summer, not so much, because I'm usually working in the garden for many hours a day. So we don't spend as much time together in the summer, but we're together all the time. And it means that we've had to develop really valuable people skills. And I kind of feel like that's something that people are missing in this day and age. We're also isolated from each other. Everybody is so individual that we're losing our people skills. We're losing the ability to talk to someone that you're angry at. My kids and I practice that skill all day, every day.
Holding my hair. Sorry, I didn't mean to put it here.
And to be honest, the girls get along so fantastically. They have such a beautiful friendship.
No, we don't. We fight every single step.
You do fight a lot, that is true. So now she's doing the Scream cat version. Amazing. They do really play really nicely. So we spend more time together than your average family, both because we homeschool and because we live in a tiny space. But we are quite isolated from the rest of the world. Not just geographically isolated, but just ideologically isolated. Like, in 3D real life, I have never met anybody who lives the way that we live. On the internet, I've met loads of people. This has been the number one biggest blessing about having this YouTube channel, is I have been introduced to so many people who live the way that I do, and it is really, really cool to know that I'm not alone. But in real life, we don't meet a lot of people who live like this. We do meet a lot of people who think that this is a really cool way to live and who have a lot of respect for what we're doing and a lot of admiration for what we're doing, but nobody else who actually does it. And I got a comment on one of my videos last week sort of saying that this isn't fair for my children because why would they would never want to bring their friends back home. But they do bring their friends over. We have friends over on a regular basis. It's, it kind of, to me, I see it as almost like a filter. Anybody who's not enthusiastic about this home that we live in, cool. Let's see. Wow, Abby, bring that closer. I want to see that better.
I used the lemon as the dog pieces, and the other willow that I have, because I only have 2 willows.
Yeah.
The other willow I have, they have white pieces.
That looks really good, babe. Those markers are awesome. Are you happy with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone who doesn't think that this is the coolest thing ever isn't someone that we really want to be in our community, isn't someone that we're going to want to be friends with. And it's the same with my kids. I don't want them to be friends with someone who's so judgmental that they wouldn't want to be here. When they're teenagers, the story might be different, but how far in the future is that? Who knows where we're going to be that far away from now. I have no idea what my life is going to look like. I do not dare predict where my life will go in the next 6 years, because I never would have predicted 6 years ago that I would have been here. So yes, we're isolated here, but we're finding our community. And also through the farmers market, I'm meeting a lot of people who see the world the way that I see the world and are excited about the things that I'm excited about. So we are beginning to build a community. But I do say it's a tricky thing and you need some patience. Which brings me to, I figured out the 4 skills that I have had to use the most. Actually, the 4 skills that I feel like have served me the best in this life. Number 1 is patience. Patience, because living in a tiny space with minimal supplies and conveniences is just it really tries your patience. It really tries your patience, especially when nature starts entering your home. You need patience and calmness and zen and something called radical acceptance. I cannot tell you enough how much radical acceptance has served me in this life. It's just sometimes I cannot change the situation that I'm in, and I have to just be okay with it. Because if I start to get angry or feel sorry for myself or get upset, that's not going to fix anything, and it's just going to make everybody miserable. So patience and radical acceptance. But like the flip side of that, of radical acceptance, is creativity. You need to be really creative in your solutions, because this isn't a normal house and normal solutions don't work for this house. So I have to really be okay at thinking outside the box. Cool. Let me see.
Cat.
The cat version of the scream. That's awesome. Really cool.
Why is the person screaming in the scream?
Nobody really knows. Okay, so patience, creativity, organization. It looks disorganized in my house. If you were to come in here and look on my shelves, it looks disorganized. But trust me, I have to know where everything is. Not only because I'm in a tiny house, but because I also have things stored in Dawn's house, and I also have things still at their father's house. So I am constantly having to keep track of where all of my stuff is. Organization in making sure that you plan your dinner the night before so that you can have it in the oven in the morning, first thing in the morning. Organization in that I need to make sure that I wash my bum wipes before I run out of bum wipes. We don't have laundry facilities in our house, so I either have to send it to the girls' father's house on Fridays, or I have to take it to Dawn's house, and I can only do that on the weekends, or I have to hand wash it, which takes a whole day. You have to really be organized. You have to really have a constant tally in your head of all the 700,000 things that you need to be doing, and when you need to be doing them before it's too late and you're in trouble. You need to be resilient, because you're going to get it wrong again and again and again and again and again, and you're going to feel like the stupidest person in the world, and you're going to feel like you can't possibly do this, and you really should be quitting because it's too hard. You need to be able to pick yourself up again every time you fall. And I said in a previous video, Bethany, what would you like? As soon as you stopped painting, you got bored and started to pester me.
I'm so close to being done.
You're so close to being done?
Should I do like blue, tiny little blue bits on the inside?
But it would have to be like a really, really, really light blue, right?
Yeah.
So, and I said in my last video that you can't do this just for one reason, because if you only have one reason to do this, as soon as it gets hard, you're going to quit. You need to do this for all the reasons, so that when you get knocked down and you feel completely beaten and you feel like there isn't a hope, you need to remember that you don't have a choice. So you need to have a lot of reasons and a lot of resiliency to do this. And then the final thing you need is you need to be brave, man. You need to... I am doing something. Society, everyone else in society is doing this thing over here, and I am doing this thing over here. You have to be really, really brave, because every step along the way, someone is going to tell you that you're making a mistake, and that you're doing something bad, and that you're doing something wrong. Every single step along the way, someone is going to poo-poo what you're doing. So you need to be really brave. You need to be brave enough to do the thing that you believe is right when everyone else tells you that you're doing the wrong thing. That takes courage. Or stupidity. I saw a quote recently that was the only difference between bravery and stupidity is whether you succeed or not. And I think that's true. So whether I'm brave or stupid, we will find out in a couple of years.
You're a good little puppy. Yes, you are. You're a good little puppy. Come on. Bad puppy. I'll kill you.
Bethany, I'm literally at the end. Just give me a minute, okay? Oh, that made my throat hurt barking at you.
Why'd you bark at me?
Okay, so bravery. Yeah, bravery. That's it. That's really everything that I could think of that I wanted to tell you. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. If you got any questions, shoot them my way, and I'll see if I can come up with a good video. I had wanted to do a day in the life video, but it's really hard. It's really hard to do a day in the life video, because as soon as you start filming your day, it's not your normal day anymore, because you're juggling cameras and like putting them up in places and then walking and then going and back and getting them. And so I don't know. If that's what you want, I'll do it. Thanks very, very much for hanging out with me. I've been really loving getting to know you guys. And we'll see you next week. Take care.